hold it long enough?
Yeah.
Hey, we're back. This is the Concrete Jungle. We are here with Kamaria. Probably one of the smartest people I know. She's a valedictorian. Give claps to her. She's going to Hampton. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Black excellence right here. So, today we're going to talk about When They See Us. We all seen the movie. We know how it felt. So, how did it make you feel? I'm automatically like, well, no. What made you want to see it, first of all? What compelled you to see it?
Okay, initially I wasn't going to watch it. I just wasn't in a place to watch something like emotional. I didn't really feel like it. And then you told me that you wanted to do this, and I was like, okay. And people were talking about it around me. I was like, okay, I need to be in this conversation. I'm going to watch it. So I decided when I was going to that track meet to New Balance that we had a 5-hour drive. I was like, I was going to go ahead and watch it. So I watched it on the ride up there, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
I originally, it was one night, I was like, okay, I got orientation the next morning. I was like, I just got off work. I was like, okay, let me watch it. I couldn't stop. I watched the whole thing, and I cried. Like, every single episode, especially when, what was the oldest one? Corey. When he went to jail, I ain't gonna lie, he started, stuttering,
Yeah.
I just bawled, but it was just, we knew this happened, you know what I'm saying? I've heard of them, but I never really,
learned about it.
Yeah.
It was never, the information was never given to me.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
See, that was something I talked about in my speech, how we're gonna have to start getting permission for ourselves, because a lot of people who are above us try to decide what they believe that we need, how they try to make us take math and stuff, but it isn't something we're gonna need later on in our lives, but they won't teach us stuff like this. So I think it's just a matter of who is deciding what we're learning and what they believe is important. And so obviously they don't believe stuff like this is important for whatever reason. So it's just the type of stuff that we're gonna have to go out ourselves and get the information for ourselves.
Okay. What was your response? Your initial response? What was the emotions after you watched it? What did you feel pent up?
Let's see, because my initial response, I'm not a crier. I don't cry a lot, so I didn't cry. But I did feel really sad, but I mostly just felt kind of angry, especially, and confused. Whenever I like to know why things happen. I like to know I don't like to memorize stuff. I like to know why it happened. I want to go to the root of it. So my initial thing was just, how do these cops feel knowing that the actual person is still out there? Yeah. Or it's just I want to know the mindset of the people who were questioning those boys. I want to know the mindset of the lawyer. I just want to know why she was thinking that, why she thought it was okay, and how did she feel knowing that she didn't really do her job.
Yeah. For me, it was just in a sense, it felt dang. It just reminded me that, in America, there could really be no justice and nobody can give a crap. Nobody. And you could be sitting in there, and then the fact that, okay, when they kept making him try to, take the plea deal, but you have to admit that you did it. Why would you, and it's clearly that he's a good prisoner. You know what I'm saying? Why would you, why is that, the way to get out? You have to admit that you did something that you did not do. Exactly. When it's supposed to be, justice and all that stuff, and you can tell your own truth in America. That's supposed to be the main thing, right? That's most freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
So, it had me confused, dang, I can really get pulled over and get blamed for a whole crime that I didn't even do, spend all this time in jail. I read that, okay, they got, what was it, 48 million? Something like that?
Yeah, 41, something like that.
But a lady who in New York, I don't know the gist of it, but, somebody, I guess, looked through her peephole, and she got, 49 million. That was one person, compared to, 5 people who went to jail for, a good, really, they missed all their teens.
They did, yeah.
And then after that, you have the fact that they're sex offenders now. They can't get a job. Anybody they try to talk to, hey, I kind of got this charge one, you know.
You gotta tell them.
But technically, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Who really gonna believe you? You know what I'm saying? But it just, it didn't wake me up, because it's I kind of was awake, but it was just dang, this is America.
Yeah. It also brought me to wondering what's the point of jail, because
I mean
there's
it's another slavery.
It's what's the point of it? Because granted they were innocent, but however, there are people who actually do this stuff. There are people who are rightfully in jail. They may get out, but what did they learn from being locked up in a cell for 20 years. Like, there needs to be a rehabilitation aspect of jail, and there isn't. And
so like what, like certain programs to...
There needs to be program. I mean, because like people are mentally ill, so I mean that's an issue.
Oh, like to separate the mental and actual people who just get a crime, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't have to separate them, but or like you could be separate programs. I mean, we have all these programs outside of jail, but they still need to be inside the jail because most likely those people who actually need it. The like welfare programs and like all the different stuff that we have outside.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like, I mean, granted it's a privilege and you go to jail, you kind of lose some of your privileges, but there's still people too. They just made I don't want to say just made a mistake because some things are very serious, but there needs to be a rehabilitation aspect in jail. We don't need to just sit them in a cell for 20 years and have them like that's like a timeout for a kid. Like, what does a kid learn from sitting in a corner for 5 minutes? I'm upset that I sat in a corner. I don't learn that I wasn't supposed to go knock over the vase on my mom's table. I'm just upset that my mom threw me in a corner.
Yeah, so like technically just mentally. That's how they end up back in jail.
That's how they end up back in jail.
And then like they can't find jobs. They can't do anything. So sometimes they're just like, we go back to jail because it's free healthcare over there.
Yeah.
Just don't get stabbed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand that. So okay, what now? When you got that film, like what now? Like we seen the film.
Mm-hmm.
We felt the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But what's next?
We need to, for one, like I said, we need to start reforming the jail system. We need to reform just like criminal justice as a whole, but also we need to reform how we see like people who have gone to jail, because like I said, they're still people.
Yeah.
So especially people who have gone for petty crimes or people who have been wrongfully convicted, you send them to jail and they come back out and they can't do anything. They can't get a job. They can't, get a loan. They can't get housing. People are judging them, which therefore makes it harder. And like you said, they'll go back to jail. So it's just a cycle that we need to break. And it's a feedback loop that we need to stop.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. All right, we'll be right back. We're about to go highlight our black business, so we'll catch you in a second. Yo, so it's Maya X, and we're back, and we're showing a spotlight for a black business right now. It's Big Dave's Cheesecake today. So I went there personally. Their new location right now is in Decatur. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little drive, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, just look at that. Look how he grades the meat and chops it up. And that's a lot of meat. I ain't gonna cap. But you get this great sandwich out of it. Like, look at that. All that cheese, all that meat, all that bread. Everything's toasted nicely. They got wings, too. They got other stuff than just Phillies, you know what I'm saying? However you want your Philly, I guess, is how you like it, you know what I'm saying? Me, I'm a plain cheese meat person for me. They got Big Day, homemade cheesesteak egg rolls. You gotta check them out, bro. They got a new location coming soon in Atlanta, though. So that's even better for people who live, close by. I never had something so good in my entire life. I mean, if Lena White's following them, you gotta check them out. All right. We are back, bro. So I hope you go give that black business some love, because that's all they need, bro. Okay, so I wanted to read off a comment sent to me based off of one of my other videos. And it wasn't from a place of hate, so I don't want it to sound like that, but it was from a person of another race, yes. And I may not agree with it, but I can understand I can understand another person's views. So what was said to me is, based on another video, my episode 1, go watch that. The link's in the bio. Okay, so it was, every day white cops are shooting white people, Mexicans, blacks, Asians, and from... We're not going to read that part. So, I really think the root issue is because of free media. We're giving platforms like CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, where the goal is to accumulate as much attention as possible for their own personal income, not to deliver important news. The only reason we only see white on black crime is because it would cause way more controversial drama and attention to their news, simply for the fact that many cannot let go of the past. Back to the times of slavery and feel as if a rebellion of sorts against is due for the white culture, when in reality, if you look back to where slavery began, it was in the period of the Mayans with pyramids. Also, the majority of slaves weren't even treated terrible. A lot lived in the houses of their own as housemaids or butlers, and if they were whipped, it was a class of people that couldn't accept something new that was introduced in their life, or possibly had a prejudged out of jealousy or lack of understanding, because at that time, before, when whites and blacks were introduced, back in the day, the black people back in Africa actually sold their own people, and before they were sold, they were enslaved by their own people. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the race itself is not an issue for police brutality. Any can be affected. It's more of how nobody is concerned enough to look back at the fact of history and instead believe the present way of life they were told. I guess that's what he meant. So that's what his comment was.
Okay. I'm gonna start at the top when he starts talking about police brutality. And so how he started saying that, oh, you know, it isn't only white on black crime, you know, that's what sells. At the same, that's the, like, sort of the issue when we started the Black Lives Matter campaign, and then people went to All Lives Matter.
Oh yeah.
So the thing was, we weren't trying to say that only Black Lives Matter. That's just what we were. This is our community, you know. That's just what we were focused on.
Yeah.
And so how we focus on, you know, how we focus on white on black police brutality, and it's, nobody says white on black police brutality. We say police brutality, and so we're not just only saying white on black. That is what is portrayed by the media, you know, okay, but at the same time, how I said before, that we're going to have to start finding our own information. Everything isn't going to be spoon-fed to us anymore. So how he's talking about the black isn't the only police brutality, he didn't give any examples. Now, granted, I do believe that may be true, but how we stood up for our community...
Wait, what may be true?
That police are brutalizing, like, other races.
Okay, go on.
So how we stood up for our community, other people have the same ability to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm gonna address that. The next thing, how he said about the...
Well, I mean, just to get to that, I mean, the reason why he's wrong is because just on that one, like, just other races, I mean, if you look up Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin, who's that guy who got I Can't Breathe,
I'm bad at names.
I forgot, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly
Or the lady who ended up magically dead. Sandra Bland?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a list on list on list. I mean, and if you want to start saying police brutality is not a real thing, I mean, you can go from either Jim Crow to now, to the most recent one where that family in Arizona. I mean, that's not police brutality. Or when they see us, that's not police brutality. I don't know what is.
Yeah.
But go on. Yeah.
And so, the next thing he's talking about was how the media portrays.
He talked about all the more liberal.
He was basically talking about fake news. That's what he was trying to say.
I mean, if you want to talk about fake news, you gotta bring up Fox 5 then.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about Fox 5, but I heard about NBC, CNN.
So, I mean, they do that because that's what we respond to. And while he's saying that, you know, they're doing that to get money, they're doing that because that's what we respond to. So really, I don't want to say our fault, but, you know, that's people's fault because that's the media that we are feeding into. That's the media that we're watching. So that's what they're going to give us to get money.
But then it's like, okay, when they film, if they put on the news a school shooting or Trump talking, is that just for ratings too? Because, I mean, we could just bring up everything that Trump says. We already know it's false or it's just some crazy BS, but we still post it and we act like we're surprised. I mean, we could say that we should stop filming him then. So because like you gotta say like, yes, it may bring ratings. I understand that, yes, but at the same time, it's what's happening. It's still not right. Somebody has to don't put on the news because it brings ratings.
I mean, it is for ratings. Just because, you know, it is TV, but at the same time, that is the news, so they can't report everything. Yes. They're going to report what gives them the most ratings. So, I mean, they are reporting news, whether you think it's fake or not. That's just what people are responding to.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Then he went into, you know, the usual slavery.
A little reckless there.
Was basically, you know, wasn't that bad.
We lived in houses apparently. You know, apparently if we got whipped, we just didn't understand the class or something.
Yeah, like you're getting whipped because, you know, your mom's getting raped right now.
Yeah,
you try to stop
it. You know, you don't understand the new culture that we're going into. Apparently, that's what I understood. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but that's what I understood. Which I don't like saying people's opinions are wrong. But I don't agree with it at all.
If you have a piece of paper saying that you can be property, I mean, that makes it
let's also go back to when he said it started with the Mayan civilization.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, granted, slavery did not start with black people. Okay, that's it didn't start. I won't say it didn't start with, like, you know, what we go through history, what they teach us in history books. That's not where it started, but that's our experience. That's our black culture. So that's what we're going to connect to.
Because you make it seem as our history started there and then.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not Mayan. I'm not. That's not what I am. That's not what I connect to. That's not what my granddad said at the table on Thanksgiving, telling me. He told me about how. Ooh, I don't know how many greats, but you know how my ancestors were slaves and how that stuff. So that's what I'm going to connect to. That's what I'm going to learn about. And if I have to argue something about slavery, that's the information that I'm going to pull, because that's what I was taught.
Yeah, that's facts. My biggest thing too, even if you want to say people were indoor slaves, my thing is, more than likely, if you were indoor, either you were snitching on your people so you wouldn't get whipped, or your dad, your master really raped your mom, and technically you're one of his kids, but you're still a piece of property. And then even if he wants to bring up the Mayans thing, so basically you're saying because they did it first, it makes it right?
I don't know. I don't understand what the point of that was.
Yeah.
I guess because you think that African Americans use slavery a lot as an excuse for things, but we're not using it as an excuse. That's just...
It's facts.
It's facts. It's what happened.
And people don't understand that. People think that slavery doesn't affect you, but it's just the fact that people don't understand that it didn't end just there. People think as soon as you got freedom, it was just like, okay, now we're good.
No.
You gotta forget. You can't forget, like, there was Jim Crow. There was segregation. There was people just giving bad loans.
There was a time, like, I can't forget, because there was a time my granddad tells me that I went on an official visit to UGA. My granddad used to not be allowed to set foot on that campus. So it's not just me saying it, you trying to use it as an excuse. It's just me remembering and appreciating what I'm able to do now, and like realizing what my grandparents and my great grandparents weren't able to do. And so it's just, I have to like really appreciate that I'm able to do these things now. And like people before me weren't.
Yeah, you got a full scholarship.
Like I have, like I'm an athlete. I'm the valedictorian. Like I don't say these things because, you know,
people make it seem like they may try to downplay it on you,
or like I'm being arrogant or something. It's just that it's amazing that as black people, the stuff that we can do now, but we still have more to do.
Yeah, like we should be proud of ourselves. When people be like, oh, you know, like when people try to, like, one thing I find beautiful, really, truth be told, is when you see like a black family together, and people try to be like, oh, that's what's supposed to happen. We don't see it a lot. You can't be mad at the fact that we were separated from 300 years, so it's like it's already instilled in us a little bit to, like, you know, it's not what we're used to, not what we're used to seeing. For a lot of people, they're the first to be a family, and it's like beautiful. Like we should, you know, like even things like you going, you know what I mean, like you going to college, you getting a scholarship, you actually doing every single thing that America Dream is supposed to do. We're supposed to follow the rules. We're doing it, and when we do it. And then when we achieve it, people try to downplay it. And you should be proud of yourself.
Exactly.
Like, we did it. We came, we played. Caesar said this, Vendi, or Vendi's, whatever, something like that. And it's I came, I conquered. Wait. I came, I conquered, I saw, right? Or I saw, I came, and conquered. Something along that line. It's like, we came here, and we did everything you wanted us to do because that was the rules y'all wanted us to do and play by. And then we conquered, and then
because let's be real, black people built this country.
Let's
be real.
The South wouldn't be possible. At all.
Like a lot of this stuff, everything that we stand on, black labor.
Exactly. So it's like, and then they want to talk about, oh, we don't really do much, but you can't discredit a person who did everything for y'all, so y'all could be in a position where y'all are and be fine. And it's not like we're coming from places like, oh, you know, F all white people and everything.
Yeah, I don't want to say like, because, you know, we keep talking about black people. I mean, that's because that's the community that I'm from. So that's the community that I'm a part of, that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to support. Granted, that's not the only community that I'm from, but that's what we're talking about right now. So I'm not trying to downplay any other race or anything, but that's just, you know, the conversation we're having today.
Okay, so do you think, two more questions. Do you think something like Central Park 5 could happen again? And then also, let's answer the question first.
Okay.
Do you think that could happen again? In this day and age. Okay, continue talking. Sorry for whatever about to happen.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe it won't be the exact same situation, but like following the line, somebody finding evidence, somebody making stuff to match, I think it could happen.
Okay. So I think if it did happen again, the only way they'll get justice is the people would have to bring it. Like, the people would have to keep pushing it. Because if we try to fly by and act like we don't see it, the government will easily.
Yeah. And so how they got out of, like, because of what they all spent, like, 6 to 14 years in jail, that would be different because of, like, how strong social media is now, how connected we could be.
Oh, yeah, like how Meek Mill got out and we were finding everything about the judge, all this stuff.
Exactly. So they might get, like, convicted or that kind of stuff. So, like, that part may be the same, but how it handled with, like, when they went to jail, that would be very, very different because of the world we live in today.
Okay, so we were talking earlier. I was saying that when I walk into a room, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but when I walk into a room, let's say I walk into a room full of white people, I automatically think, I think everybody's racist till they're proven not. And not like, like, just be careful. I don't want that to be taken out in the wrong context, but I gotta, like, it's like, be on your toes, be careful. And if they prove to you they're not, like, like, it might be something easy, like, a white person might just start talking to you, then you automatically think, maybe they could be cool, you're a nice person, then you just drop your guard. But automatically when you walk into a room, you have, like, a guard up a little bit, like, be careful, know what you say, you feel like, you know what I mean, like, not that you're, like, I'm out of place, but anything can happen. You just automatically feel like they have to prove themselves innocent. And do you think we should, when we do, I don't want to tell people, like, you gotta be careful when you walk in a room, because it's just like, you should be able to live in a world where you feel safe, but
you see, we should, but we don't. So what you do when you go and assume everybody's racist, I don't do that. And I think that's just because I've never experienced an extreme, like, form of racism. I have experienced, like, I've gone to certain college tours and I've been the only black kid there, and so I get a few side eyes. So when somebody does give me the indication that they may be looking at me because I am a black female.
Do you think it's racism, or do you think it's just like, oh, well, she's black, what the hell she doing?
I think it's more so that I don't know if it's racism.
Because there's definitely racism and bigotry.
There is, because I always get a look, especially, like, I'm not even gonna lie, when we were walking back from graduation, I had the little valedictorian stash, and I just kept seeing such side eyes from, like, certain races of families, and they were just, like, looking at my stash, like, looking at me, and I was just like, what's the issue? So I have gotten that. I have been on, like, only college tours. I've been the only black kid, so in those situations I do feel uncomfortable, but I don't feel in danger because I just don't. I haven't experienced, like, an extreme form of, like, racism. Somebody put my life in danger. I more so feel in danger when I'm, like, walking around Atlanta. I'm the only female. I feel more in danger from, like, a group of men than I do from a group of white people. Yeah. So, like, I feel like less safe walking to my car at night than I do if I'm walking around a campus with a bunch of white people.
Yeah, I'm cool around home soccer moms, you know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. Yeah. It's more of, like you said, like, it's more like, okay, it's not like I feel like, oh, they're gonna try to hang me or something like that. It's more of like, when I walk in the room, I feel like, are they all looking at me? Like you said.
Yeah, like, you're looking at me.
And then what are they thinking? Are they thinking about because of my race? That's what I'm wondering more, like. And then I'm like, could it be a race thing? That, like, I don't want to say, like, that's why I say the difference between racism and bigotry. Like, I feel like a racist is a person who be like, call you N-word, blah, 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 blah. Now, a bigot person who will, like, put things in place to stop you from achieving your goal because of your race. I think that's kind of like, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, when I walk into a room, sometimes I think, like, could it be because of this? Because of my color is the reason you might be looking at me like this.
Because I have a mindset where I'm very nonchalant. I don't care what people think at all. I don't care at all. So I never walk into a room and I see people looking at me. I'm like, what are they thinking about? Why are they staring at me? It's like okay, you look at me, I'm continuing on about my business. As long as you don't say nothing, as long as you don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So we're all good on that. But yeah, I never walk into a room. I definitely do walk places and feel out of place. Like how I said I was going to that little scholarship thing. Yeah. I was looking through all the people, like how I said I'm going to Hampton. A lot of people are going to, like, Yale. A lot of people are going, like, Yale and Harvard. So, I mean, as I was looking at that, I kind of felt out of place because, I mean, granted, I could have gone to Yale, but I didn't want to. I would have rather gone to an Ivy League for graduate school. So, I'm definitely having to learn, like, being put in different situations and not feeling out of place. Like, I went to the track meet the other day. I was competing against a lot of girls who were, like, top of the nation. And so I just have to remember, like, there's a reason that I am there.
Yeah.
So.
Like your light's bigger and it's a sound like.
Yeah, it's like I feel out of place, but then you have to remember that there's a reason that you're there. There's a reason you were put here, so.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a great conversation with Kamaria. You gotta follow her on social media, anything that I post, you know what I mean? You gotta follow her. Because she's gonna do so many extraordinary things. You may be voting for her one day as your senator. So, thank you for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Alright, welcome to the jungle. It's alright. We'll catch you next episode. Alright, that was it.